Four seasons lost. In Austin, I saw, pause. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice. Then attend to this headed slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Or dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, moments reflected. Often mirrors a pit, clip, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams.
Yes, we do. We manifest dreams here on the Unpopular Hour. I'm your host, Matt Clark. Of course, today we're coming to you from my favorite barbecue place, Georgia's Happy Hog, over here at 712 Culbertson Drive, just east of Lincoln, south of OU Medical Center, and north of the Capitol. So, and we're enjoying ourselves today. Had to have some barbecue. Oh, hold on. Randy, will you hand me my sweet tea, please? I know you're going to go. Oh, I don't want to make you work, man. Not your sweet tea, my sweet tea. Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's my guy, Randy, right at YNB. He's actually doing some work today. Trying to act like he's doing some work today. I don't know. But by the way, Carolyn Hinthorn, I'm going to let you know that your boy ate your rib ends. I told him to make sure he got you some, but he was back there eating all your rib ends. I asked him if he was going to bring his sister some, and he said no. So you might want to text him before he leaves, and maybe he'll bring you some. Oh, my God. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. I'm your host, Matt Clark. And like I said, we're coming to you from Georgia's Happy Hog here at 715 Culbertson Drive. If you want to call, 405-525-8117. Of course, here are the store hours. They're open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 7, closed on Sunday. If you want to have, they also cater and have events for them, please call them at 405-525-8111. And like I said, I want to thank my guy over here, Randy Wright at YNB. Family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com, www.ynbok.com if you want to get any car loans or anything like that, or housings, or if you got commercial, these are the people that you want to see. So that being said, today we got some stuff to talk about. Not a lot of NBA because, I mean, really, it's football season's gearing up. This Thursday is the first football game, so we're really going to talk more about football today, talk about the conferences. We're going to talk about some more NFL news, what happened, and we're going to get into all of that. Of course, today we're going to do a special on the tiers for the running backs. Remember, we've done quarterback tiers, then we just did wide receiver tiers yesterday. Today we're going to go over the running back tiers today, so that's ought to be real interesting to see how that happens. But first of all, let's talk about let's go ahead and do NBA. I mean, there's not a lot. Of course, Bill Russell passed on Sunday, one of the icons of the NBA. Really sad to see him go. The things that he did as far as on the court, and then most importantly, what he did as a civil rights activist off the court, and the things that he endured. And like I had said yesterday on the show, I think that the things that happened to him in Boston, you know, him being away after winning championships for them, him being away, and for what they did to him, defecating, breaking into his house when he was on the road. They came to his house and, you know, pissed and shit all over his yard, put feces all over his walls, broke all of his trophies. Just amazing what people will do. But I think that fueled him to be that much more of a champion. And then on top of that, I think that fueled his rights, because him being a player, being who he was, and he could only imagine if you're just not necessarily a normal person. I don't know if that's the correct way to put it, but a normal person. What did you have to go through if you weren't an athlete or a superstar? What did you have to deal with at your home? And then also the NBA is opening up a tampering investigation against the Knicks for Jalen Brunson, which I'm like, why are you doing that? His dad's a coach. I mean, to me, that's just idiotic. What are you doing? Are y'all that bored that you have to do that? I don't really understand why you're even coming across that. That makes zero sense to me. And then, of course, the 76ers are already under investigation for what happened with James Harden, P.J. Tucker, and Daniel House, what they're doing with that. So, because James Harden, remember, he didn't exercise his $47 million contract to get his last year. What he did is took less money so they could go out and hire people, go get P.J. Tucker and go get Daniel House. And then he took, what was it, $11 million pay cut or something like that in order for them to continue to get better. So that being said, I'm just going, I'm really not understanding what the situation was, what the problem is with that. I mean, it happens all the time. What's the difference between you taking, restructuring my contract or me saying, okay, I'm not going to take this much money. I'm going to do a 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal. This is what I'm going to do. We need to make our team better. What's the difference? I don't really understand that. I mean, I don't really get it. But if you think these guys don't talk, of course they talk. I talk to my friends talk to their friends, you talk to your friends. Who doesn't? If you really want to say tamper, of course everybody tampers in some sort of way, one way or the other. That makes zero sense to me. But the NBA is clearly bored, and they need to find something to talk about. So clearly that's what they're doing, which makes zero sense to me. Now, in the NFL, of course, the big news is the Dolphins were stripped of their 2023 first-round draft pick, and owner Donald Ross was fined $1.5 million. Plus, he can't be around the team until October 17th for tampering with Tom Brady, trying to get him to come over to be a Miami Dolphin. And, yeah, I mean, this guy, he had some issues with Florida, Brian Flores, who was his former coach last year, and some things like that as far as racism and prejudice, but those things have not been settled in court. So let's not talk about things we don't know about until it actually happens, and then we can actually make a determination or a decision on that. But, whether he tampered with Tom Brady, I'm sure he probably did. Tampa Tom is living, I think he's still living in Derek Jeter's house, or renting Derek Jeter's house. He should have bought his own by now, because Tampa is a lot better place than New England to live. So why would he not want to do that? That makes no sense to me. I know that I would. I mean, my choice, do I want to live in Tampa Bay or do I want to live in New England? Do I want to freeze my butt off, or do I want to do where I can play golf every day, my wife can do her supermodel stuff, and the kids can be happy and be warm? So that's a kind of an easy decision. If you are a husband and you are married and you do have millions and millions and millions of dollars and you can go wherever you want, live where you want, I'm going to have a choice. Let me see. Do I want to be in the state where I don't have to pay taxes and be warm, or do I want to live in some place where I got to pay taxes, I'm going to be cold? Let me see. Oh, I don't want to pay taxes and I want to play golf and I want to be warm. Let's see. Then, of course, Deshaun Watson's thing is still popping up, and I'm not going to really touch on that except for the NFL has not made a decision yet about that, and to me, I think it's pretty easy on what they should or should not do. You've already hired this lady for a specific reason, because you wanted to get out of the punishment business. So now, Roger Goodell, you're going to get right back in the punishment business by hiring somebody, saying this is what we want you to do, and then when you don't do what we think you should do, we're going to go around you. I don't think that's good for the NFL, and let's face it, the shield is the number one thing. Let's see. If you don't talk about Deshaun, if you don't sue them, or you don't file an appeal, guess what? This story will go away. Is it going to be a little bit? Yeah. It's going to be a little bit, simply because the women's groups and women activists, they're going to come in, they're going to gripe a little bit like they always do, and like they should. So they're going to do what they do, and that's what they should do, and that's what they have the right to do. But if you put it out, then it's going to be more and more in the news. It's going to be more and more in the press. It's going to be more and more out front. And we know how you guys are about the shield. So if you don't appeal, which you shouldn't, because that's why you hired this lady, she's a federal judge. And like Randy Wright and I were talking about just a while ago, here's what the deal is. The deal is this, is that you hired this woman. She is a federal judge. She made the decision based on previously what you guys have ruled against. So she gave him the maximum number of games that she could give him based on what you guys have already done in the past. So she is a federal judge. She is smart. She knows what she's doing. Plus, she's a woman. And like I said yesterday, as a woman, who do you think is going to levy a bigger fine on him? A woman or a man? And I am a man, and that's not to say that I'm chauvinist because I'm not. But who's gonna put it to him more? A woman's gonna. Trust me. She laid the maximum amount of sentence she could lay on that man, and we went over it yesterday. All the things that he had to do. You know, he's gonna give up $345,000, which is only $57,000 a game. But like Randy and I talked about, Cleveland did a great job of saying, okay, we know you're gonna be fined, but we're gonna give you $1 million up front for this year. This is what you got to pay. This is what you're gonna do. Because let's face it. If he'd had his normal contract, that would have been $17 million that he'd had to pay out in fines. And let's face it, by the way, all that money goes to charity. It's all a write-off. They don't lose it. Okay, they don't lose it. It goes into a deal, so it's just like a write-off for them. So it's not like they're getting fined, but they're really not getting fined. It's not really costing them anything. So remember, Deshaun Watson's going to have to he's going to be able to practice and play in preseason. He's going to miss the first 3 games where he cannot be on the field. He cannot be in the practice in the facility at all for 3 games. And then the 4th game, he can come back. In week 4, he can come back and he can actually practice with the team and be in the facility and do all that. And then for the next 3 games, he will not be able to play, but he will be a part of the team and what's going on with them. So really, it's basically 3 games. That's what it is. And if you look at Cleveland's schedule, it's not that hard. And Drew and I went over it yesterday. They could go 3-3 really easily. They could go 5-1. They could go 6-0. The schedule is not that tough compared to the Cowboys or the Chiefs or some of the other teams. So it's going to be really easy for them to do what they do and be successful and not be hurting. But that back schedule, that next day games, they got to play the Ravens twice. You got to go play Cincinnati twice. You got to play the Steelers. I mean, it ain't going to be a cakewalk. They got to play the Colts, which I think they can beat them, but it's not going to be a cakewalk for them. But if Deshaun Watson is 80 or 90% of what he is, I think they'll go 5-3, which makes them what? By the end of it, that's 6 games. So actually, that'd be 9 games on top of 6. So they would be somewhere, I think, after that many games, 10-5, somewhere after 15 games. It's not bad. Not bad, but I think Deshaun Watson is going to get them through because he is the type of player that he is. So, but now the good part is we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, you know what? Football starts Thursday. Everybody's excited about that, including myself. First of all, I want to thank our sponsors at Collaborative Logic. If you got any kind of needs that you need fixed as far as your computer or network, those are the people that you need to see. Of course, Mark Long over at SRB. If you have any surveying, engineering, or planning, those are the guys that you want to talk to over there. Our guy, Jose Fierro. If you need anything hauled off in his dump trucks, and dump. I can't say dump because he doesn't have that last truck fixed yet, so he's got to get that back up. Boy, get that hurry up. I don't like when I say dump. It don't sound right. Then, of course, Greg and Max Nafee at NAFCO. And then, of course, our last but not least is our guys at YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com, and they will hook you up for any loans as far as cars. If you got anything as far as if you're building neighborhoods and things like that commercially, these are the people refinancing. These are people that you want to talk to about that. And then we also want to thank them for sponsoring us on our remote locations to minority, black-owned, and women-owned businesses in the area. So we're here at George's Happy Hog over here right off Culbertson. And this is the thing, if it wasn't for YNB, we would not be here. And we want to thank those guys for allowing us to go into women-owned and black-owned businesses and minority businesses in Oklahoma City area to help promote them. And without those guys, we would not be able to do that. So we want to thank them. And then also something near and dear that's coming up soon, the JFK Award. Oh, excuse me, that's the captain. The next coming up is one of my favorite things that one of my favorite deals of the year is the JFK Awards. And it's one of my favorite things that I love doing. and it's for Santa Fe Family Life Center. Of course, it's September 20th at 7 p.m. at the Omni. If you've never been to the Omni, Omni's a beautiful place. Of course, they got a great swimming pool. And I still, like I said, have not been to Bob's. Randy, have you been to Bob's?
Yep. Excellent.
Oh, well, Randy, of course, says it's excellent. I haven't been to Bob's, so I don't know. I've been to the Bob's in Dallas many times for my birthday, but I've never been to the Bob's here. But if he says it's excellent, he is a food connoisseur, and he loves a good steak, so I can definitely take his word for it.
Good
Barbecue. Man, barbecue what?
From Georgia's.
Oh, we're at George's right now. I know you ate your sister's rib ends. So you know what? See, Carolyn, I'm sorry. I tried to get him to take care of you on the rib ends, Carolyn. I apologize once again. I said, man, get your sister rib ends, but he just ate them all. He said, I did get her some, and he ate them all plus the ribs. Did you have anything else with that? Did you have any mac and cheese?
Beans, coleslaw, and a lot of water.
Oh, he had, and then of course now he ate that watermelon iced tea, man. That stuff is good. It is nice and sweet and tasty. I love their watermelon sweet tea over here at Georgia's Happy Hog, and it's just one of our good places to go. Here is this Georgia's Happy Hog. Their store hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 to 7. Of course, they're closed on Sunday. If you have any catering or event needs, call them up at 405-525-8111. Those are the people that you can do. And then also, you can go to our website at www.mcsportsnetwork.com. That's www.mcsportsnetwork.com. You pull it up. You can click on any of our past episodes, and you can watch that. Or you can go to YouTube, sign in, search the Unpopular Hour / Matt Clark, and you'll be able to find us at any time on that. So, are you gone, bro?
Yep.
All right, I appreciate you, man.
Might see you tomorrow.
All right, and if I tell TM to get his butt here, what else he got to do? He ain't got nothing else to do?
He's getting as slow as I am.
No, man, you slow. Of course, you as fast as you've always been. Did they lock you in?
Yep.
Wow, that was weird. Anyway, that's my guy Randy Wright at YNB. Appreciate you, brother. See you later. He was over here getting some watermelon sweet tea and eating barbecue with me for lunch today. And we're, of course, talking about our guy Terry Miller, my mentor there at Oklahoma State, and one of the main reasons why I went there, which is a nice little segue into one of the things we're talking about today are the running backs. We did the top tier quarterbacks, we've done the top tier wide receivers, and now we're going to do the top tier running backs. And this is how they were broken down. They're broken. Tier 1 are your elite running backs. Tier 2 are your elite running backs, but they've all been slowed by injury. They just can't seem to stay healthy. Tier 3 are your good starters. Tier 4 are your guys that are elusive and they're on rookie deals, which I kind of like how they broke it down, doing it this way. So, because I think, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Alvin Kamara are all elite running backs, but I do agree that they've been slowed by injury. But they are definitely elite. So I like how he broke it down. Pro Football Focus broke it down to Tier 1 is elite, Tier 2 is elite, slowed by injury, Tier 3 good starters, Tier 4 elusive and on rookie deals. And we may go and do the other breakdown for them tomorrow, but right now, I like the way that it is here, and we just want to really do guys that really fit kind of what we're talking about as far as elite status, who are going to make a difference this year, not necessarily just throwing anybody on here. So to start off, let's talk about Jonathan Taylor and what a player that Jonathan Taylor is. Of course, Indianapolis Colts, star running back for them. He is an absolute beast. And I love what Jonathan Taylor brings to the what he brings to the table. Sometimes I just can't talk. I think I'm full because of all that sweet tea that I had that was absolutely delicious that I had today. So, something to me about, I love my watermelon sweet tea. I really, really do. But anyway, Jonathan Taylor, you got to give Jonathan Taylor the first deal. And I like what he is, and of course we know that Jonathan Taylor plays for Indianapolis, the Colts. Then of course next to him would be Nick Chubb. Of course, we know who Chubb plays for. Cleveland Browns, who helped Russ, or God, I can't even think of his name now. Why do I want to just constantly just forget about him? I don't know why I constantly want to forget about Baker Mayfield for some unknown reason, but I tend to want to forget about him, which is not fair to him because Baker is a very, very good player. But I don't know. They said he's been throwing interceptions, and it's just not really fair. It's not really fair to Baker for him to be thrown in that, like saying, oh well, he's he's washed up. I don't believe Baker's washed up. I think that he's just still trying to deal with what he's dealing with. As far as I think that it just hurt him. I really do. I think it hurt him this past year, and let's face it, what is this? His fifth offensive coordinator in 5 years, or something stupid like that. So is that really fair to Baker for him to really be put in the way that he's put in? I don't necessarily think so. But Nick Chubb, what a monster he was. Now, tier 2, but slowed by injuries. Derrick Henry, of course, we all know who he is, the beast from the Tennessee Titans. When Derrick is healthy, he's just hurt. He's just amazing. And I think it hurt them bringing him back. I think it hurt bringing him back in the playoffs, but at the same time, your quarterback can't throw a stupid interception at the end of the game, which Cincinnati helped them get in. And, of course, Christian McCaffrey for the Carolina Panthers, one of the best all-around running backs in the game. And if Christian is healthy, the Carolina Panthers I think will be something to deal with, and it's definitely going to help Sam Darnold and for sure Baker, because if I can hand it to Baker, I can fake the running back. Baker is a great play-action pass type quarterback, and he's just a monster, and I think he's going to do really, really well. Dalvin Cook for the Vikings, of course, we all know who he is, along with Alvin Kamara, and of course, Alvin Kamara, man, Kamara is just nasty. I mean, he really is, but he can be healthy. He's got all the tools. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's elusive. He's got some speed. He's got great hands. So Alvin Kamara can do all the things that you really need a running back to do. He can run with power. He can get you that 1, 2, 3 yards, which is what the Chiefs, I think, are missing. They missed that running back that can get them in close goal line situations, that can get them 2 to 3 yards. And I think if they had that running back last year, I think they beat the Cincinnati Bengals and they go into the Super Bowl. But that's the one thing, if you ask me, that the Chiefs are lacking, and that's something that they definitely need to. And they tried to do that before, but you got to go get your running back who's big, physical, who can run between the lines, and who can actually pass, block, and catch the ball. So the Chiefs if the Chiefs had any one of these guys, they would have went to the Super Bowl last year if they had any of these guys right here, because I think on first down, goal to go, I think they score. Tier 3, your good starters. Aaron Jones. I really, really like Aaron Jones. I like what he brings to the table. Of course, Aaron Jones is for the Green Bay Packers. I like everything that he does. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball, and especially if you're going to be able to play with Aaron Rodgers, you need to be able to keep the linemen and linebackers when they're blitzing or safeties off of Aaron Rodgers, and you have to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. So Aaron fulfills all that. Austin Keller, of course, for the Los Angeles Rams, has all those tools as well. Good starter, can do things. He's not necessarily an elite guy like the other guys, but yet he can still do all the little things that you need to do. And then, of course, Joe Mixon, the running back from OU. I've always liked him. I think that he was a hell of a player at OU. When I first saw him as a freshman, I thought, this kid is unbelievable. He can do everything. He can run between the tackles. He can run out. He can get outside. He's got great hands. He's elusive one-on-one. He's hard to catch one-on-one. He's going to get by you and do everything he needs to do. And tackling him one-on-one in open field is not something easily done. And I really, really like what Joe Mixon brings. Then elusive, but on rookie deals. This is where you get lucky right here. You get you a guy like Josh Jacobs, and who is just, I really, really like Josh. I like everything he does, and he's going to, like I said, that Raiders team this year is just going to be really, really interesting to see what happens with them, because now you've got a very, 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 very good quarterback, Derek Carr, who is underrated, who doesn't get the praise and I think that he deserves. Then, of course, the wide receiver core, and then, of course, you got Josh Jacobs that you can hand the ball off to. Then after that is Najee Harris, and you know everything you need to know about him and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a beast that Najee is, and, of course, he's on that rookie deal, which, of course, is where you want these guys for. You're not paying them a lot of money, but you're getting the maximum out of them. And then the last but not least is Javonte Williams. And, I mean, what can I say about this guy? I really like what he's doing, what he's done thus far. But the question is he going to be able to take the Denver Broncos to another level now that they have now that they have Russell? And I do believe that they will. I do believe that they will take them to another level simply because of what he has to offer. I think it's going to make all the difference in the world for Denver and the things that they need to do for the Broncos. I think it's going to be huge for them. And it's like I said, with the Broncos, with new ownership and all the things that they will now be able to do, because, I mean, let's face it, you got the Waltons, one of the richest families in the United States, backing them up. So I think that's going to be really, really good. And then, like I said, when you go back to the question, I mean, you look at what the Broncos have done. They got new ownership. They've added two new pieces to the table. What did they add? They've added Lewis Hamilton. I don't know if you're familiar with who Lewis Hamilton is, but he's tied Michael Schumacher. I consider him the greatest Formula One racer of all time because he leads and wins. He's tied in most with 7 or 6 with Michael Schumacher. So as far as being the world champion. So I think that Lewis, that's a good deal, along with Condoleezza Rice. They already have several women on board, so I think they're meeting all the NFL's needs. You have a majority ownership, a company of people with a lot of money, in other words, the billionaires. And then also what do? You have minorities mixed in with that. You have blacks and women's, African-American and women mixed in. So I think you fulfill all the requirements that the NFL is now looking for to make them PC when it comes to diversity and stuff. Now, if you can just get more diversity in the front office, I think I and other people will be a little bit more happy about that. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know, but I want to say that it will. So now let's talk about, since we're talking about the Broncos, let's go ahead and talk about the AFC West, which I think is the best. The NFC West and the AFC West are the two best conferences, but I think the AFC West is clearly the best because, unlike the NFC West, you don't have the Seattle Seahawks because you've got the Rams in there and you've got the 49ers in there. So I think that you've got the Cardinals in there. So, but of course, then you look at this group, who is the weak link? Is it Justin Herbert because they haven't been there before? Is it the Broncos because now they have Russell Wilson and the team hasn't gelled yet because this is his first year? Is it the Raiders because I don't really have an answer because I don't think they could be last. And then, of course, I don't think the Chiefs will be last either, even though they're missing Tyreek. I think they're going to do better because the way that you're going to defend the Chiefs is going to open up Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to do more things, and you can't just concentrate on playing the two safeties deep and forcing everything under because they now don't have to worry about Tyreek. And I think this is going to be a breakout MVP year for Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to come out and he's just going to be stellar this year when it comes down to it. I think he's going to be fantastic. I think that he's really going to have a great year, if not the MVP. So that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to do the Chiefs and the Broncos schedule side by side. We're going to compare what their records are going to be. Tomorrow on Women Only Wednesday, we're going to do the Chargers and the Raiders and have their schedule side by side and predict that, because if you'll remember, when we did our predictions for NFL playoffs, here it is. We picked the Chiefs and the Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders. Now, Drew did not take the Raiders. He took the Ravens instead of the Raiders. And if I'm going to lose one, I would probably lose the Chargers because they simply have been there, and I don't know if Justin Herbert can actually overcome that and get them done what needs to be done yet. And on the other side of that, when I look at the Raiders, they did make the playoffs last year, And they have their quarterback. If you're not familiar with who he has more comeback victories, Derek Carr, than any other quarterback in the NFL in the last, I think it's 5 years. So, if you're going to take somebody, you want to take Derek Carr and the Raiders. But anyway, that's my prediction on that. So when we break down the AFC West and we break down, dang, these flies are just beating me up in this place. When we look at the NFL schedule, this is the way I have it broken down. I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I have the Kansas City Chiefs, and here the first game is against the Cardinals. Then they have the Cardinals away, which I think is a W. They have the Chargers at home, I think is a W. They have the Colts away, I think they can win that. Buccaneers away, I think they'll lose that. And the Raiders at home, I think that's a toss-up. The Raiders beat them, and so I think that's a toss-up. So the Chiefs will be 4-1 in their first. Bills, I think, is a loss. I think that the Bills are wanting to beat the Chiefs more than the Chiefs are wanting to beat the Bills. So I'm going to give that slight edge to Josh Allen and the Bills at home. And the Chiefs play better on the road than they do at home. I don't know why that is, but they just seem to – Patrick Mahomes seems to play better, and they just seem to be more focused. 49ers away, I think they win that game. Of course, they have their bye. They come back with the Titans at home. Andy Reid is amazing after bye, so I think they win that. Jaguars win. Chargers, I think they're not going to beat the Chargers twice. I think that's a loss there. The Rams at home, that's a win. Then they're going to lose to the Bengals. I think they'll lose to the Broncos, beat the Texans, beat the Seahawks. Then they got the Broncos. I think they'll lose to the Broncos because I had them beating the Broncos earlier, so I had them losing the Broncos. Broncos away, that's a loss. And then the Seahawks home, Broncos home win, Raiders away win. So I think the Chiefs at 12-5. That's what I have them. And then when you come over to the Broncos, the Seahawks away, that is a W. The Texans, a W. The Niners at home, that's a W. The Raiders away, that's a loss. The Colts at home, that's a W. The Chargers, a loss. Jets, win. Jaguars, win. Then they have a bye, so they're 6-2. Titans away, I think that's an L. Raiders at home, that's a W. Panthers away, W. Ravens away, that's a L. Chiefs at home, that is a win. Cardinals at home, I think they should be able to beat the Cardinals. That's 10. Chiefs away, they'll lose that. And then the Chargers they'll lose that. So I think I got screwed up there. Anyway, I got them at 11-6. I have to go back through that and check it. But anyway, 11-6 is what I have for them. And I'm sorry, Jose. I know you, that's from boy Jose Fierro. I also did that. And with Oak Grove trucking out, Broncos is his squad. I think I'm drinking too much watermelon sweet tea, too. I think about that. But anyway, so those are my schedules. I think the Chiefs 12-5. I think the Broncos 11-6. That's kind of the way I see it. The Chiefs' schedule is a lot harder, I think, than the Broncos. But I just think that it's going to take the Broncos a little bit now. I think the Broncos' defense is way, way better than the Chiefs. But I think that what the offense does, they're going to keep you in games, and they're going to win the games they need to, of course, with Patrick Mahomes. I think they're going to do the things that they need to do to get that done. Now, the Broncos have the advantage in defense. They have the advantage as far as running back, but I think the Chiefs has the advantage in quarterback. And then coaching, I think the Chiefs have that advantage as well, which is why I think the Chiefs are going to go win their fifth consecutive AFC West division title, which, man, is unprecedented. That's pretty tough to do, and eventually sometime it's got to come to an end. But I think the Chiefs get it done this year because with Tyreek and everything he's saying, I think that gives the Chiefs that much more incentive to be that much more on point and ready to go. And the Broncos, on the other hand, I'm looking at them. You got a new ownership. They have to be involved. You have a new quarterback, so I think there's a bunch of things they got going on that I think it's going to hurt them in some games. They're going to lose some games they probably shouldn't lose. And every team does. And they're going to win one or two that they shouldn't. But I think that 11-6 is about right for the Broncos. considering they've got a new quarterback they've got to fit in. Now, next year, I think it's a completely different scenario for the Broncos. I think the Broncos, depending on what they do this year and how Russell gels, I think it's going to be a completely different outcome, I think, next year based on, Russell having a year with the team, them understanding what each one does and what they need to do. I'm going to probably take the Broncos or Chargers or maybe even the Raiders. But we shall see. Right now, I don't know if anybody can beat the Chiefs and what they have in Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in that combination. So we shall see how that works out. So, but anyway, right now I want to tell everybody that where I'm at. I'm at George's Happy Hog. I'm at George's Happy Hog over here at Culbertson Drive. What a great place this is, and if you've never been over here, you should come. And it's at 712 Culbertson Drive, 405-525-8111. They're open from 11 to 7, Monday through Saturdays, closed on Sundays. For catering events, hey, hit them up at 405-525-8111. By all means, hit those guys up, and they'd love to be able to help you. And remember, once again, in NFL news, we're going to go back over that real quick so you can just kind of keep up for those of you all who came in late. In our NFL news, this is what's happened so far in the NFL as far as NFL news. What's happened? Remember, Deshaun Watson was suspended for 6 games. The NFL wanted 12 games and $8 million. That is not what happened. It was less than that. And then, because like I said earlier when Randy and I were talking about that, what are they going to do as far as all that's concerned? And I think the NFL is going to come back and let that go because, if you're trying to get out of the punishment business, why would you go back in and try to do that? And then once again, the Dolphins were stripped of their 2023 first-round pick, and Donald Ross was fined $1.5 million. Plus, you can't be around the team until October 17th. Is not allowed to go any league meetings in the 2023, which he'll be all right with that. I'm sure they're going to send somebody. It's not like they're just going to be suspended and away from everything, but he will not be able to attend owners' meetings because of his tampering with Tom Brady and trying to get Brady to be one of the owners. So that's ought to be interesting to see how that works out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just really, really interesting to see what they're going to do with that. To me, it's like, let it go, guys, let it go. Just like in the NBA, when you look at the NBA news and what we've talked about the NBA. Of course, we remember Bill Russell passed away Sunday. But, the NBA is opening up tampering and investigations against the Knicks for Jalen Brunson. Really? Let that go. Let that go. His dad's a coach. To me, this is the 76ers under investigation. Okay, James Harden took a break, took a cut. Okay, I can kind of see that. Didn't take his $47 million. Took an $11 million, $9 million pay cut, 11, whatever it was. Okay, cool. I can see that. Yeah, talk a little bit about that. So they signed P.J. Tucker, and they signed Daniel House. Okay, fine. But on the other side, come on, guys. Come on. Give me a break. Jalen Brunson, dad's a coach. The agent's uncle's a GM. Come on. Of course they talked. Of course it is. Really? So what? He got $4 million, 4 years, $104 million. Okay. I'm still waiting to see what the problem is with that. What is the issue with that? Huh? Clearly the Mavericks weren't going to pay him that. Okay, so what? The man got some money. Let's move on. If there was some real tampering of a player who could play, yeah, let's talk about that. But Jalen Brunson, is he really going to make the difference with the Knicks? Is he really going to make the difference with the Knicks? Probably not. So to me, I don't really understand that. I don't get whether there's even an issue with this at all. I think the NBA is just trying to stay relevant because the season's over with. Kevin Durant has yet to be traded. Russell Westbrook is yet to be traded. Kyrie has yet to be traded. So there's not a lot to go on. So the NBA has got to make itself relevant by just coming up with some nonsense just to stay in the news. But the Nets, come on, let's go ahead and take the deal with Boston. Let Kevin Durant go. Let's move on. Let Kevin Durant move on. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? Let Kevin Durant move on. It's stupid for him to still be there. On the other side of that, Russell, they don't want you in Los Angeles. Kyrie, they don't want you there. You don't want to be there either. So let's go ahead and swap that out year for year. You two go, and at least you can play with LeBron, and you'll be happy in L.A. Maybe. You are Kyrie, so we don't really know what you're going to do, but at least you'll be happy there in L.A. How do you not be happy in L.A. versus New Jersey? I understand your family is in New Jersey, but, man, you kind of screwed that up by being the person that you are and missing games and all of that, and that's the reason why you did not get, nor will you get the max extension that you're looking for, no matter. Because to me, just because you do it 1 year would mean nothing to me. You're doing what you got to do 1 year, and you're going to go back to being you after that. Because I've got all this history of this is who you are, and then you're going to change from 1 year? I'm not believing that for a second. Not believing that for a second. You're going to have to show me more than one time before I believe that you're worth that amount of money. So I'm not doing it. That being said, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Once again, we're at George's Happy Hog. And, man, I am so full right now. I'm ready to go lay down, and I'm going to tell you where we're at. This is our location. This is where we're at, okay? And if you haven't been to George's, I highly recommend it. We're at 712 Culbertson Drive, which is south of the OU Medical Center on Lincoln. Okay, so we're really what you do is you're going south towards the Capitol. You get to Culbertson. You go east, because if you go left, you're going to the Harn Homestead. You go up the hill. The first stop sign you come to is Lindsay. You go over Lindsay, and it's right there on your right-hand side on the south side. George's Happy Hog, 712 Culbertson Drive, 405-525-8111. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 7, closed on Sunday. And, of course, they're open for catering and events. Contact them at 405-525-8111 if you want to contact them there. And then, of course, I want to thank, last but not least, my guys at Y&B, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. I appreciate what they're doing. If you want to pre-qualify online, you can go to www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. I want to thank them for everything that they've done for us to go out to minority, black, and women-owned businesses in Oklahoma City to help promote them, and we would not have been able to do that without their support. So, and by the way, Randy Wright came in today and enjoyed some barbecue. He did not take care of his sister Carolyn Henthorne and bring her any of those rib ends. He took care of business himself. Boy, what a good brother he is. Yeah, Randy, I just threw you under the bus. Anyway, I want to take this opportunity to talk about our boy Drew Henthorne of HuskerDrewPicks.com. That's HuskerDrewPicks.com. He's got the Yankees. And, of course, the money line at minus 159. The Dodgers also at minus 145. Both of those are my boys, and they're rolling, which I'm happy about. His Braves, man, at minus 227. So they're clearly throwing their ace tonight, or they're going to do something to be that high. So minus 227 for the Braves. The Marlins, minus 131. Really like that pick. And, of course, the Rangers and the Orioles over 8.5, because they've just been – there's no pitching a lot. There's just runs between us two. And then, of course, the Cubbies and the Cardinals over 8. Clearly that's in St. Louis. I still like the old Busch Stadium. Part of what I was talking about with someone the other day, because we were talking about older ballparks. Like, I prefer old Yankee Stadium to the new Yankee Stadium. I prefer the old Busch Stadium compared to the new Busch Stadium. You know, I like the fact that the Red Sox have not changed anything with Fenway Park. I like the fact that the Chiefs, all they've done is upgrade Arrowhead, even though I know they're looking at building a brand new stadium, which I guess clearly they need to because of the dollars and because of the way fans are now and how they need to be entertained with all this other stuff going on other than the football game itself. So you have to have, I mean, you look at SoFi and what they're doing, you look at Jerry's World, you look at all these new stadiums, so you look at what they got to do. Like we've talked about the Thunder needing a new facility and a new arena here. There's there's things that you just have to do if you're going to have a professional team. Every 20, 30 years, you just got to build a new spot. I mean, it is what it is, because the fans want something different. The players want something different. Some other team has got something different. So in order to attract players and do things, you tend to have a better facility, more attractive, and better, more comfortable for your surroundings, for your people, and for what's going on. Like you look at Chase Center in in San Francisco, where the Warriors play. I mean, you've got this huge 72 by 40 inch screen. It's just massive, the biggest screen there. They've got a huge drop down screen inside, the biggest in the league, where people, it's almost like Jerry's World, which is really what it is. It's this big, huge deal where people can watch the game and be entertained there because we're so used. Like I said, to me, when I go to Jerry's World, I end up watching the screen because I'm so used to watching TV. And when you sit in club, it's just right there, and it's just like sitting at your house looking up at your TV screen. So I think that more and more facilities are going that because it just makes it much more attractive. You can do more things. You can put more stats. And, you know, for somebody like me who is going to the games, the Thunder games, and taking notes for my live stream that I do after the games called After the Storm, it's fantastic for someone like me if I can get the stats and I don't have to go online and look them up after the game. It makes life so much easier. So anyway, that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Once again, I'm your host, Matt Clark, coming from Georgia's Happy Hog.